that, say, in your case and in Julianne's case, you're kind of like the mentors or the Uber directors of your minions and your protege. Can you talk about taking on this role as a mentor and or as a leader, and what you do in your own mind to manage that role in the film, and then and do you feel that way in life in general? And I want to hear, how was Jeff being your mentor, your teacher here?
Well, I can't give the answer I usually give because he's sitting right next to me and it would seem somewhat ingratiating, I think. But Jeff, I mean, Jeff is a reason I wanted to do the film in the first place. That's not news to him, but I think he was unbelievably generous. I remember there was a day we were filming with Ura with the bear, and there was a lot of like set-up time, and we were just sitting there, and Jeff just saying, "You're my apprentice in the movie. I think you should be my apprentice in real life. Let's talk about acting." You would be. I've been so lucky in my life to work with some great actors who have been my heroes before we started, but Jeff was the first one to actually say, "Let's talk about acting," because no one wants to do it because you think it's like it's this, there's a secret, there's like this magical secret that we can't really talk about how and what and why and what we do, what we're doing, and why we tell stories in the way that we do. Like there's some mystical secret to the world of acting which you need a special key to open, and it's not just dressing up and playing make-believe. But Jeff's actually the first person to kind of talk me through like his approach to scenes and stuff like that, which is just, thank you.
And can you guys talk a little bit about your roles as mentors?
Yeah, I remember, my father and my brother, I guess they count as mentors, even though I'm related, I guess. My mom too, she would give me some wonderful acting tips. And we say to Julie, well, Julie mentioned this, and I agree with her that the ages that you get to work with as actors, there's so many different ages. I thought some of my best mentors have been animals, dogs, and children, babies. Just watch. I remember the kid in Crazy Heart. It's so wonderful just to see how he did these things, and he had no expectations, or this thing you mentioned, not being result oriented. You can learn that from the kid who grew up into it. I can remember, I think the second film I did called The Yin and Yang of Mr. Go. It was Burgess Meredith wrote, directed, produced it. James Mason played a Chinese Mexican in it. And I remember Mason, James Mason, I was just in awe of him as an actor. And there he was, taking me under his wing and going about, really in a very purposeful way, breaking all those expectations that I had with him, and just say, yeah, I'm just a regular guy, talking about his brother and your brother and those kinds of things. And that's maybe in the spirit that I came to you and said, hey, let's, what do you?
You want to
And Julianne?
Well, we were talking about this earlier, and I said that one of the things that was so great for me when I became an actor was being in a situation where I would be working with suddenly with people who were my age, and people who were my parents' age, and people who were my grandparents' age. I remember working with George Gaines when he was 70 and I was playing his wife. And you felt, and you felt like just everything collapsed, suddenly you were a peer with this person. And so I always think that when I'm working with, it's one thing to have people with a child, and when I work with someone who's underage as a child, I do feel very responsible and very maternal and stuff. But one of the things that's interesting for me when I work with actors who are younger is that the best thing that happened to me, when people treated me like a peer, when they taught me and also, treated me like a peer. So that's something that I endeavor to do when I work with people, because I just remember that feeling, like I said, of all those years just melting away. It's very exciting. That being said, I also remember, it was this, when I was on a soap opera years ago, the woman who was playing my mom, I had to throw myself into her arms, sobbing, sobbing. I had my face buried in her chest, I'm crying. And on camera, she very gently picked up my face and faced it toward the camera. And at the end of the scene, she was like, "The lens can't see you. You can't see the lens, darling." And it was so generous. She was so incredibly generous that she went out of her way to put my face in the lens, and I've never forgotten it. So that's the kind of stuff that you experience, that you hope to do, that you want to do when you're the one who has the words to say.
Hi, Jeff and Julianne. It's been nearly 2 decades since you were together in The Big Lebowski as the dude and Maud. And what is it? First of all, what is it like to be together again? And how would you also compare and contrast your relationships in the 2 movies?
Yeah, it's been 17 years, and I have the little Lebowski to prove it.
And that wasn't method acting, right?
No, but it's true. I was pregnant. I actually got pregnant. It's not Jess. I'm the Big Lebowski. My son is 17 years old, so that's how we know that it's been 17 years.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. I know.
And, well, not many people know this, but I think we'll just let this out of the bag, that this film is actually a prequel. There are some kind of, weird parallels, I think of Maud, flying with the paint, coming out there, it's kind of like her dragon, The dude like to, smoke it and drink it, and, Gregory, he likes to, I'm sure he's got some kind of smoking mixture that he probably will.
That
lighten
stuff they
you
use for
on.
the
Yeah,
tattoo.
there you go.
He rolls that up.
That's right. There's probably some similarities. I haven't really thought too much about it, but now I will.
Oh, it's just so great to be with Jeff again, and it was like, I don't know, I was saying, I think that not only do we kind of drag our relationship along as people and as actors, but I think the audience does too. So there's that sense of, oh, I know those guys, they were in a movie together before. They have, so that kind of comes along with you, and it was something that I hadn't really anticipated, and it's cool. It's a really cool thing.
Good, positive baggage.
Yeah,
Positive
baggage.
Even doing, what we're doing here now. It's kind of the same thing.
I know, right?
It's just being together, and we've had the pleasure of doing a lot of interviews this morning just together, and it's kind of like, I guess, performing together in a way, ripping off each other, being inspired by each other.
Mm-hmm.